Hello everyone, I'm Ashish and welcome back to the United Talk. I know, this is a very new look. You guys are not yet ready for this, but still, for a couple of days you have to bear this. But anyways, we have some very interesting news as far as the sale of Man United goes. Erik Ten Hag just had his press conference ahead of that Sevilla clash. Surprisingly, that was a really very short press conference because the flight of Man United was delayed for an hour, so it was kind of a very small press conference. But again, couple of interesting things. We're going to talk about that as well. But before that, let me just tell you one thing very important. There's some amazing news as far as the sale of Manchester United goes, because people were very many fans were actually scared about this, that whether it's going to happen or whether it's not going to happen. But surprisingly, it's coming from Mike Keegan, who's a very reliable source as far as Man United is concerned. He works at Daily Mail. He's a Manchester United correspondent, and he himself said this today, that Glazers will now have to sell the club, and it's gonna be a full sale club. It won't be that one party is holding some sort of majority of shares or some sort of minority shares. It won't be like that. Either Sheikh Jassim from Al Thani family or Sir Jim Ratcliffe. These are the two people who are actually rivaling each other. So they will be the ones. There are other individuals as well. There are some conglomerates as well which are actually working behind the scenes, but we are not sure about them. The two prominent names that are actually coming up again and again is Jim Ratcliffe and Sheikh Jassim from Al Thani family. Both of them are actually pretty sure. In fact, today was the last day to ask if you are a Qatari sports investment or you are from Sir Jim Ratcliffe in supporting group. Today was the last day to ask any questions or any query to the Elliott Investment Group, to the Glazers, as far as the last final bidding process goes, because from tomorrow, I guess it's next Friday. Next Friday is the last day to submit the final bid, which will possibly decide the future of Manchester United, whether it's going to be Sheikh Jassim or it's going to be Sir Ratcliffe. Nobody knows. It's like we all are just waiting to flip that coin, and heads, tails, what happens, nobody knows. But anyways, that's all from Mike Keegan. I'm really sorry. He also talked about that the toxicity, the brand toxicity, will be humongous if Glazers decides to stay, and if they gets any particular investor to invest in the club. That's going to be very toxic as a brand of Manchester United, because everybody is going to protest. There are still some rumors that there are going to be some protest or some campaigns, just like the last Liverpool game last season. So there will be some protests ahead of West Ham game. So we are not so sure about the exact situation behind the scene, whether Glazers are actually willing to sell or not. But there is some logical facts that yes, they will have to sell. They will be selling the club. That is why they have sort of reacted as in this way, that they'll be conducting another third round, of sort of final bidding round, where they will hear to the Qatari sports investment or Sir Jim Ratcliffe and any other particular individual who wants to make a bid for Man United. So let's just hope that we get something positive by the end of next week, because God knows we really need Glazers to go. We really do need new owners. We need somebody who loves the club, who wants to invest in the club and not just take dividends out of the club. And that we don't want that sort of owner at Man United right now. We need somebody who can actually, just think about us, feel a little bit pumped up, is ready to invest in the club, is ready to invest in the stadium, and then definitely at Carrington also. And then after all that, we need somebody who can actually invest in the transfer market, because everybody knows we need squad depth. But as far as squad depth is concerned, that's all from Mike Keegan. So now I'm going to talk about the Ten Hag's press conference a little bit, because it was a very small press conference. There were not very bright questions. And the most important thing about that press conference was that we actually have a little bit proof also on Man United app, or if you follow Manchester United on Instagram. Rashford, Luke Shaw, Sabitzer and Malacia, these 4 players are back in the training, and that is a big boost. I mean, that is a big boost. We all were scared that Rashford is actually having a suffering from groin injury, and we all know that groin injury definitely takes at least 2 to 3 weeks, or maybe more than that. And finally, we are really happy that it's not a groin injury. It must be some muscle stretch or something like that. I'm really happy, because everybody knows we needed Luke Shaw. We definitely needed Rashford, because you just can't rely on Anthony Martial or Sancho. Anthony's playing great at this particular point, but it's like you need Rashford. You don't have anyone else, and you sort of Manchester United actually rely on Rashford right now. Until next summer, if we get a new striker, and I really hope that we get Osimhen. But we're going to talk about that as well a little bit later on. But before that, we need to talk about the press conference. Like I said, the 4 players are back in the training. They'll be available for the squad tomorrow. We are not sure. Even Ten Hag admits this. They'll be available for the game. He's not sure that whether they're going to start, but yes, they will be on the plane, and they'll be starting maybe they'll be starting the game, because I hope if Luke Shaw is there and he's fit enough to start the game, I would actually start him as a left centre back. I don't want Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof partnership. I just don't want that. I want somebody reliable in the back 4, and I think Luke Shaw fits perfectly in that left centre back role. I don't want Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire to start that game. If Luke Shaw is fit, I really want him as a left centre back. And we can go for Malacia as the left back, because if Luke Shaw is there to support him, I think he'll do quite well. He won't make that mistake what he did in the last home game against Sevilla. But let's just say that we win the game tomorrow. We really need to win this. We really need to move ahead in the Europa League. I just don't want us to be kicked out of Sevilla, because I mean, I know that Sevilla has had good luck in the Europa League, but I don't even consider Sevilla as a tough opponent. I would give better chances of defeating us, as defeating teams would be like Brighton or let's say Chelsea. I mean, like I don't even consider Sevilla as a tough opponent. And if Sevilla plays well tomorrow and score some goals and kick us out of the competition, it's gonna be a big blow. It's gonna be a big blow to their confidence as well. I really don't want that to happen. I really don't want that to happen, because remember, in the second half at the home game, we actually invited them to play on the edge of our penalty box. They weren't that attacking. We actually let them play like that. And if that happens tomorrow, that's gonna be really disappointing. That's gonna be really disappointing. I just want Manchester United to win this game, move ahead in the clash, because Sunday we have another important game for FA Cup. I really want us to win these 2 games. I don't want Man City to ever have a dream of having that treble, because Man City is right now. Man City is actually ahead at their Champions League clash, and they are kind of kicking Bayern Munich's ass. So I'm not really happy about that. Arsenal are actually playing as bottlers, so I don't even rely on them. The only way I think we can stop that treble is by winning the FA Cup. And if that happens, I'll be really happy. I'll be really happy. I don't want to rely on Real Madrid. I don't want to rely on Arsenal. I really want Manchester United to step up and win the FA Cup, so that we can actually fight for that treble glory. We can't let Man City have that. We just can't. But anyways, he was also asked about, Ten Hag was also actually asked about De Gea situation, and he was really happy with De Gea. The way he talked about him, it was quite clear that De Gea is elemental to his plans. He actually talked about that in today's era, the goalkeeper's role is quite diversified. He needs to be a sweeper. His distributions should be good, but at the end of the day, his most important trait should be the goal stopping. He needs to intercept. He needs to be good on one-on-one, and that is what De Gea is doing right now as a Manchester United number one. So he is pretty much happy with him, and we all are pretty much happy with him. I don't know why these rumors are popping and floating around Manchester United that we are actually looking for a new goalkeeper. De Gea should leave. I would like a goalkeeper. Probably if you guys heard that our Lafont, he's kind of a nice guy. He's around 20 or 21 years of age. I would actually like him as a backup of De Gea, because within 2 or 3 years, De Gea will be like sort of passing on the mantle to a young goalkeeper who's quite actually capable of handling that number one position. And I actually do see Lafont as the sort of upgraded version of De Gea. So that will be really interesting, and if that happens, I'll be really happy. But I don't think so Dean Henderson can do the job. Dean Henderson has lost his way, and I think if I was Manchester United manager or maybe sporting director, I would have sold Dean Henderson in the last summer window, and if not, I'm gonna sell him this summer. He needs to leave, because I don't want another goalkeeper like of that capability and with that attitude. I really don't want. But anyways, Ten Hag was actually talked about the Sevilla home crowd. He actually noticed, he actually said this himself, that the Sevilla home crowd, it would be really tough to handle that crowd, because it's their home ground. They already were behind two goals, and they scored two goals. Well, they didn't actually score 2 goals, but yeah, sort of they attacked and they got lucky. But their manager actually talked about in their press conference that there was nothing down to luck. It was all the effort and commitment of the players. And Erik Ten Hag himself said this, that we can't drop off at any moment. We need to attack, and boy oh boy, we really do need to attack. We can't just drop off at any particular scenario. We need to attack. We can't again invite those assholes and let them play at the edge of our penalty box. We really need to stop that. And one thing I'm actually missing, yes, the Scott McTominay thing. I mean, this is quite interesting. I was not actually sure about this, but Scott McTominay is injured, and he'll be out for at least 3 or 4 games. I mean, I don't really rate Scott McTominay. I don't even want Scott McTominay at Man United. I really wish that he's gone after this season. But as far as squad depth is concerned, right now what we are facing, he's actually a body. He's actually a body that you can put on the footballing field after 60 minutes or after 70 minutes and give one of your important players a bit of rest. But unfortunately, something has happened. I don't even know what it is, but he's injured and he'll be out for at least a few weeks. So that's disappointing. But Sabitzer is back, so Christian Eriksen is back, and Bruno Fernandes will miss tomorrow because he's suspended. So that is very disappointing, because Bruno Fernandes for me is the club captain, and he's one of the most elemental player of Manchester United right now, and he's missing the game, and that too such an important game when we are like, I don't know, it's true too, but I really believe that we are somewhat behind, and that's really frustrating for me as well. But let's just hope that tomorrow the boys turn up, they do well, and we actually win that game in style. I mean, not even in style. If we can win that game 1-0, I'll be very happy with that. I'll be really happy with that. But enough about this. This was all the sort of key points of Erik Ten Hag's press conference. There was not much to talk about because it was a relief press conference. Like I said, the plane was delayed for an hour, and it was really short press conference. This was kind of the most important things that he talked about. He was sitting actually with Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen was also asked about that January tackle by Andy Carroll. He himself said this, that I was surprised that he never received a card for that tackle. And everybody knows that it was a proper red card. But even if not a red card, you could actually give him a yellow card and a warning. But no, nothing happened because the referees are quite busy with licking Chelsea's and Man City's ass. But let's not talk about it. Another thing that I really want to talk about is that Rob Dawson from ESPN, he's a Manchester United what is happening? Rob Dawson, he works at ESPN, and he's a Manchester United correspondent. He actually said this today in the morning, that De Gea deal is very close, and the way Erik Ten Hag is actually talking about the De Gea's role at Man United, it's quite obvious that yes, De Gea deal is very close, and if that happens, I'll be really happy. I'll be over the moon because I really want De Gea to stay at the club. remember his contract is off at the summer. After the summer he'll be out of his contract, so I really want him to sign a new deal, and if that happens, I'm all up for it. And another thing that Rob Dawson actually mentioned in his Twitter account, that he actually mentioned Bellingham and Frankie de Jong again. And he himself said this, that Frankie de Jong is still the #1 target for Erik Ten Hag, and if that happens, I have no idea what's happening on that front, because we all know that Frankie de Jong doesn't want to leave Barcelona. Barcelona needs to sell Frankie de Jong so that they could raise some money, because they are already facing a very difficult season right now, and they need to sell something. And Frankie de Jong is the highest wage earner, and probably the only player that can actually attract some money. And we all know that Erik Ten Hag made Frankie de Jong his #1 choice. He actually was obsessed with the Frankie de Jong deal, and he wanted to sign him even before he was at Man United. So it's quite obvious that the manager is actually obsessed with that player. He turned us down. He don't want to leave Barcelona for whatsoever reason. But if I think Manchester United wants to back Erik Ten Hag, this is the time, because Barcelona wants to sell someone. They need to sell somebody, and your manager is actually obsessed with that player. And if he wants that player, what he has done with this midfield, that's amazing. And now you have Casemiro as the defensive midfielder, so you know he'll be able to play for the next season as well. You need to back your manager and go and sign that player. I think Barcelona will take 70 or 80 million, because if you're gonna walk up to Barcelona board and just tell them that we're gonna give you 70 or 80 million and we need that player right now, they're gonna accept it. You can't just sit on that deal. Just tell them to take 70 or 80, or we'll be approaching our other targets. I'm pretty much confident about this, that they'll take 70, 80 millions. I'm pretty much confident about this. But again, it all comes down to Frankie de Jong, whether he wants to come or he does not want to come. He does not want to leave Barcelona. It doesn't look like he wants to leave Barcelona, but never say never. Maybe something could happen, maybe something won't, but let's see. That's news for another season. We're not going to delve on to that. And like I said, Jude Bellingham was also mentioned, and even in a previous video, I talked about that for quite a bit, that Bellingham, Liverpool is out of the race. Liverpool withdrew from the Bellingham offer, and I don't think so any other particular team is really interested in Bellingham right now, besides Chelsea, because Chelsea are actually picking groceries on the transfer market, so they can do anything. And as far as Manchester United goes, I myself said this is the time for Manchester United to get into that transfer market, and if we have new owners, and chunk out some of the money and go and get that deal done. Because if not this summer, next summer, if Liverpool is has qualified for the Champions League spot, Bellingham will definitely go for Liverpool. He won't stay. And right now, even Bellingham said that he doesn't, if there is no good offer, if he doesn't feel the move is right for him, he won't leave Dortmund for another year, and he'll wait for this year, and he'll think about his plans in the next 2025 summer window. So that's really disappointing. And if Liverpool gets that Champions League spot next season, Bellingham is their player. Nobody will even touch Bellingham. That is what the most idiotic thing. But again, if Man United want to sign Bellingham, they need to do it this month, this summer window only. Else they'll have to sit out of that deal, and that's really disappointing to see the caliber of player or like Jude Bellingham to go to Liverpool, especially your arch nemesis. But again, let's just not talk about it, because I think this should be my wrap-up call. I've been saying this out loud. I don't even know how to end the conversation, how to end the video. But like I said, the press conference was short. This was the only thing that I had to talk about. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the show. If you really like the show, give it a thumbs up, smash a like, share it with your friends who are actually Man United fans. Please keep supporting the channel. I know you guys doing it, and I really hope that everyone who's actually watching the video for the first time, please support the channel, subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, give it a thumbs up, and definitely keep supporting Manchester United. This is a wrap up. Thank you for watching and tuning thank you for tuning and watching the show. I'm really sorry I'm messing this up. Please take care of yourself, guys. Glory, glory, Man United. Bye bye.